sports and TV show streams going live on YouTube, streaming live on YouTube. Before I put Rescue 911 on, I'm going to see if I really am going live, because sometimes it will go to a featured stream and say upcoming events. So let's see. I'm on YouTube now. That was my episodes from yesterday. Let's see. Okay, yeah, now it's going to show my channel. Yes, we are going live. See? Okay, yeah, now it's going to show my channel. Yes, we are going live. Okay, because I didn't want to, put this on YouTube if we weren't going live. Let's see, now I'll go to Commando TV. See, there's like 4 episodes of Rescue 911 a day.
Even if he was a war hero. They will now.
Today on Rescue 911, safe in her own backyard.
Yes, my daughter just got kidnapped.
A bold abduction.
They've never found one of the victims alive.
Leads cops down a dangerous road.
Guys like this, you don't know what they're capable of.
Then, a car unblocked.
Pops that road rest way down on his neck and head and chest and just stop moving.
Becomes a death trap.
You this man that is this lifeless.
And leaves a man struggling for life on Rescue 911.
It's often only through the caring and commitment of strangers that we can survive the unthinkable. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of heroes who give us hope on Rescue 911. We begin on Sunday, December 15th, 1991, in the small town of Vista, California, where Richard Hageman was at home in his apartment looking after his 2 young daughters.
Oh, sure, but stay right out back where I'm keeping an eye. I said, that's fine. You can go out back and play. I thought nothing of it. I usually check on the children every 5-10 minutes.
Hey, girls.
What?
Come here, girls. Come on. What you doing? Playing, huh? You having fun?
Yes.
You're not going to believe this, but you know what I found? All this money. Look at all that money. You know what? There's 10 times as much as this back here, but I'm having trouble counting it. Do you want to come back here and help me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping.
Miss Matt, just look for money by our house.
Look at all this money I found.
He showed money to Shannon and my sister.
Look here. I found some along the fence. Let's take a look. Look at all that money right there. Don't worry, I'll be back for you in a minute.
He'll come back for me and take me for ice cream. Yeah.
I was on my way out back to check on the children. Rachel came running up to me. Daddy, Daddy, somebody just took Shannon. I immediately ran with her into the carport. My daughter pointed to a green sedan.
When we continue,
I was scared to death. I've been reading in the paper about all the different kidnappings in the area, and they've never found one of the victims alive.
Hey, hey, hey.
When 6-year-old Shannon was abducted by a man from in front of her apartment, her father Richard got a glimpse of the car as it sped away and ran inside to call for help.
Sir, 911 emergency?
Yes, my daughter just got kidnapped. In my apartment complex.
Okay, did you see who took her?
It was a little green lowrider.
Which way did they go?
I ran out the...
I was scared to death. I've been reading in the paper recently about all the different kidnappings in the area, and they have never found one of the victims alive.
And the people who were in the car?
My other daughter said it was a guy. Oh, it was a white, black Mexican one. It was a white male with something in his hair, she said.
Wait a second, I'm going to get the thing started. How old's your daughter?
6 years old.
Don Bronson had only been a San Diego County Sheriff's dispatcher for a year.
Whenever you get a call like this, you want to get the initial information to the radio, because the thing you would see would be the car first.
31 call 2, a unit to cover possible 2.
The report of the abduction was relayed to units throughout the area.
I need a little description of what your daughter was wearing, okay?
A sweater top with a hood, white with brown trim on.
I was very fearful for her life, so I tried to keep as calm as I could and be as accurate as I could.
No description on the guy other than he had a thing in his hair?
That's all my daughter said. I was just walking out to check, and she said they just took her off the road.
Could you ask, how old's your the other daughter?
She just turned 5.
Oh, boy. If we have any more questions, we'll be calling you back.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, sir.
I wanted Shannon back, 'cause I missed her.
What's the last direction of travel?
Towards Palomar and FCA from Bonaire Road.
One of the detectives assigned to the case was Ed Pollock.
They put out a Code 5, which is a call to all units to start stakeouts surrounding the crime scene. In this case, they're looking for that lime green car.
Also among those searching for the missing girl was Deputy Nelson Prosper.
When the supervisor said to take up a Code 5 position, each unit made up their own mind on where they want to go. I tried to put myself into his shoes. If I wanted to get away, which way would I go? So I said, I'm going to take the Bonsall Bridge, hoping that this guy would take her to a rural area where no one's around.
What's your daughter's name?
Shannon.
Words really can't describe the feeling you have when you lose someone.
It was a white top.
This was extremely difficult for me because I've lost a son before. My house burned down in Pennsylvania and my son died. And I thought I was losing a second. I was losing a daughter.
I've got Escondido vehicle was last seen actually on Blonde Air and possibly en route to Falmouth.
As I'm sitting there looking at the intersection, I could see a lime green car coming eastbound on East Vista Way. They said it was lime green. This thing was lime green. My blood is pumping, the adrenaline is pumping. I'm thinking, this gotta be it. As I got closer, I could see the head of a child. I couldn't tell whether it was a boy or girl at that point.
You're making a left on Holly Lane, California plate 526, George Boy Unit.
Guys like this, you don't know what they're capable of. That includes killing the cop, killing the kid, whatever it takes to get away. I decided at this point I gotta stop him here. I don't want him to go any further.
141, I have a possible suspect vehicle stopped 4000 block of Kerry Lane past the Bonzo Bridge. Is there a name on the victim?
Affirmative. Shannon.
10-4, send me some cover.
I could see him looking in the rearview mirror, looking in the side view mirror. I could sense that he was real nervous.
Is this your car?
Yes, officer, it is.
What's your relationship to the child there?
She's a friend of mine.
He couldn't come up with an answer right away. When he said, it's just a friend, I knew that right then and there, this is the guy, this is the girl.
Is something wrong?
Just step out of the car for me.
I could see the little girl. She's starting to cry.
You need to go to the front of my car. Stay right there, sweetheart. Right to the front of the car.
If this guy wants to not go along with the program, I'm going to be in here for a good long fight because he's a big boy.
All the way down. There you go. Keep your hands right there.
Till I get him handcuffed and in the back seat of my car, then I kind of feel a sigh of relief.
Daddy. Come on out here, sweetheart. Come on. Everything's okay. Come on out.
It was like I was picking up one of my own kids. I almost cried. I almost cried, telling her to calm down. Her dad was coming to pick her up. You get that big knot in your throat. It was incredible.
It is hard to describe how you can feel after getting a loved one back after a kidnapping. It's the feeling that you have your child and you're going to make sure she's safe for life.
The suspect subsequently pleaded guilty to child molestation and was sentenced to 17 years in prison. In the 10 months since the incident, the whole family has been doing all they can to deal with the painful memories of that day.
It basically has devastated the whole entire family. Shannon, Rachel, and Rich are all receiving therapy. Doesn't matter where you live or how many times you tell your child over and over again you don't talk to strangers. They're still children and they're still susceptible to anything.
I work for San Diego County Sheriff's Department.
To help educate children, the Sheriff's Department offers a special class for area schools, hosted in part by McGruff the Crime Dog.
That's right. When you are in trouble, you scream, you yell, you run, you get help.
We encourage kids, we don't want to fill them with paranoia of strangers, because certainly not every person walking down the street is out to do them harm.
A lot of adults can trick people into doing things they don't really mean to do.
But if you're scared or you feel something wrong, run and tell a trusted adult.
If the stranger wants you to go, then don't go.
The police did an excellent job in this. For Officer Prosper to find her within a half hour of the time that she was taken is a miracle.
As long as I live, I'll remember this part of my law enforcement career forever. One of the greatest feelings. Being a cop and doing something good for a kid. That's what it's all about.
Next,
He had a pulse, but he wasn't breathing. I thought his neck was broken. I thought, well, he's dead. There's nothing I can do for him.
He's Jeff was going to work on his car, and Jessica was playing out in the yard beside him.
Hi, Jesse, what are you doing?
He was getting something out of the toolbox, and she was counting out the sockets. She can't count right, so she was like saying 1, 2, 9, 8, back and forth with the numbers, and he was counting with her.
The number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-627-3700. That's 1-800-627-3700 now.
Extra, extra. It's the Get TV newsletter featuring star interviews, fun facts, and schedule highlights. Sign up today at Get.tv.
When our quiet world is suddenly shattered, we can only hope that we're prepared to respond quickly to the emergency. For Jennifer Welborn, that moment came on the afternoon of July 15th, 1990, outside her home in Guthrie, Kentucky.
Jeff was going to work on his car, and Jessica was playing out in the yard beside him.
Hi, Jesse, what are you doing?
He was getting something out of the toolbox, and she was counting out the sockets. She can't count right, so she was like saying 1, 2, 9, 8, back and forth with the numbers, and he was counting with her. I heard him squeal, so I looked back over towards him. He was struggling, trying to push the car away from him, and all of a sudden it rolled the rest of the way down on his neck and head and chest, and he just stopped moving, just all at once, just laid still.
The number on your screen now. It's free.
Call 1-800-627-3700.
Even here, and Jessica just kept hollering for her daddy. No! Oh, God, out. Even here, and Jessica just kept hollering for her daddy. No! Oh, God, out.
I jacked it up as far as he'd go, and that's about all they'd done.
Even here, and Jessica just kept hollering for her daddy. No! Oh, God, out.
I jacked it up as far as he'd go, and that's about all they'd done is jack the car up about 2 inches.
Even here, and Jessica just kept hollering for her daddy.
Even if he was worried.
Even here, and Jessica just kept hollering for her daddy. No!
And no, 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 and no, no, no. No.
I just pulled as hard as I could. Trying to get him out, and I still can't get him out. It was just so tight.
Oh, no. No.
I just pulled as hard as I could. I just pulled as hard as I could trying to get him out, and I still can't get him out, trying to get him out, and I still can't get him out. It was just so tight. No, I've got to be with him about it. No, I've got to be with him about it. He died before I got over there. He died before I got over there. You know, I never see him again. No, I've got to be with him about it. No, I've got to be with him about it. He died before I got over there. He died before I got over there. You know, I never see him again.
Audio is messed up on here. I don't know why it's like that.
The vehicle, scotch the vehicle, scotch the vehicle, keep it from rolling the vehicle, keep it from rolling back.
We don't take it for granted anymore that we're together. Every other anniversary he's always worked and I've always worked. This time we both took off and stayed together the whole day. Whatever we do it together. And to make the most of what we got.
Today on Rescue 911. Rescue 911. Fly over Miami.
Stabbings, accident victims is routine Saturday night for Dade County. Stabbings, accident victims is routine Saturday night for Dade County.
Take to the sky with Metro Air Rescue.
One thing is certain that we have saved many lives.
Watch this emergency chopper team save lives. Save lives.
I'm lucky that I'm alive.
Then a raging river becomes a rafting.
I don't think I want to do this one. The audio's so messed up on it. Let's see. I'll try the third one.
Might have done more harm. I don't know if I'd been there. But at least he would have known. Mom's there.
It was just the ultimate terror.
Does the audio get better?
For the natural reaction to go to a radio and call for help.
Now paramedics race to save one of their own. On Rescue 911.
Looks like the audio's messed up on this one too. Let me try the...
Pain was increasing and getting worse. We kind of had the suspicion that we might have had something to the spinal cord and possible liver damage.
Looks like the audio's messed up on the April 1st ones. Now I'm going to try the April 2nds. See if the audio's any better. It will play and then it will go back and repeat it. It's so messed up. Looked like Get TV was having technical difficulty on April 1st. that's why I didn't, film those videos, because audio was messed up.
Today on Rescue 911. Near a dangerous accident, a reckless driver puts a cop's life in peril.
And I realized that he had lost his left leg.
And rescue crews are put to the test.
There was only moments between life and death.
Then, a little girl hidden in a burning house.
She didn't know whether or not her daughter was in the garage or in the house itself.
Firefighters must race the flames to find her.
This little girl might die.
On Rescue 911.
Lieutenant Jim Pucci was a 20-year veteran of the Greenwich, Connecticut Police Department. Well-liked and well-respected. On the night of January 19th, 1988, he and his fellow officers were called to the scene of an accident.
I found an accident involving a flatbed tractor-trailer truck and a smaller type vehicle. The small vehicle was pretty much underneath the flatbed portion of the truck. The situation was hazardous for both myself and the vehicles up there.
Sergeant Pat Chilla was the first officer on the scene.
There were vehicles passing me at a high rate of speed on both my right and my left, so we started setting up a flare pattern to protect the scene.
Officer Gary Hanulik was helping to control the traffic.
Headquarters notified me on the air, telling me to go qualify. We had our shooting program that was taking place.
Veteran Lieutenant Jim Pucci arrived to take Officer Hanulik's place, laying down warning flares on the roadway. The non-injury accident had occurred on a 3-lane stretch of highway, reducing traffic to 1 lane and speeds to under 10 miles an hour.
I've known Jim Pucci for approximately 15 years. When I became a police officer, we became friends, and we've been friends ever since. I left the scene and proceeded up to headquarters.
I knew of Jimmy as I was growing up in the town. Jimmy was one of the guys you kind of looked up to and wanted to be like.
When we continue,
I observed a vehicle sharply veered in front of traffic towards the police cruiser.
If you can't pick your family, you might as well not.
A police detective from the next town over, Dave Piero, was on his way back to headquarters.
I was returning from Riverside, Connecticut in my department's unmarked detective car, and I was returning to the village of Portchester, New York. I observed a vehicle sharply veered in front of traffic towards the police cruiser. I had seen the impact, and I saw the police cruiser being thrown. I got out of my car and saw that there was a police officer in the trunk of the car. I looked into the trunk and I realized that he had lost his left leg. He was obviously in shock. His face was pale white. I began talking to the police officer, telling him that, he's not going to die and that he is going to be okay.
The words that he kept repeating really hit home. Here's a guy that I really admired, and he's asking me not to let him die. There was no doubt in our minds that if we didn't get Jimmy to the hospital quickly, that he wasn't going to make it.
An urgent radio call about a cop down brought Officer Hanulik racing back to the scene.
along with other officers in the area.
I had no authority there. I just yelled out that we can't wait for this. We can't have a funeral in this trunk. Let's get this man out of here. We picked him up, laid him on the ground. I took off my belt, wrapped it quickly around to act as a tourniquet.
The medic unit was not in sight at this time, so we made a decision to put him in a police car and take him to the hospital. The trooper at this point gave Officer Panzer the box that had the severed portion of the leg in it.
When I saw that car driving away, I knew there was only moments between life and death. I felt like someone had reached into my body and was pulling my heart out.
Officer Paul O'Gorman had known Jim Pucci for more than 25 years.
I remember Jimmy saying things about his family and that he didn't want to die. I just told him to hang in there and we'd have him at the hospital soon enough and not to worry about anything.
While Jim Pucci was being rushed the 1.5 miles to the hospital, a member of the force was sent to notify his wife, Diana.
My daughter said there was a police officer there to see me, and I saw Chucky Smith, and he just looked sad, and I knew something was wrong. He said that Jimmy had been in an accident.
Within 5 minutes, he arrived at the hospital, where a trauma team immediately went to work to try and save his life. Dr. Kevin Conroy was at the hospital that night for a meeting.
Well, the initial assessment was that he had an amputation of the one leg, that he had chest wounds with probable fractured ribs, which is impeding his respirations. He had a fracture of the right arm. He was also having a tremendous amount of abdominal pain, which questioned whether there were internal injuries there at the time. Our major concern was the amount of blood lost. We had estimated initially that he probably had lost close to his total body volume. He showed tremendous fighting power, wanting to stay awake. He was aware of the degree of trauma to his body. The situation was extremely critical. He was aware of it.
I remember saying, I don't care about his leg. What else is wrong? What's threatening him? Is he going to die? And they wouldn't answer me.
We knew we had a long, stormy course ahead of us, not knowing what his lung status would be in the days to follow and what his kidney function would be in the days to follow.
The surgeons were unable to reattach Jim Pucci's leg. They were not even sure he would survive.
The doctors came in and they asked me how I was and if they thought I was able to talk to Jimmy. And I said yes. So I did go in and I talked to him. I was just so nervous. I kept saying to myself, don't get hysterical. You can't get hysterical. I didn't go home. I spent almost 2 weeks sleeping at the hospital. I came home long enough to take a shower and go back in time to talk to the doctors. The nurses kept saying to me, you have to go home. You have to go home. And I said, I'll go home when you tell me my husband's going to live.
When I got there, I was really scared, but I didn't cry when I walked in. I was really strong for my father, and I could feel that he was being strong for us, too.
Jim Pucci was hospitalized for 8 weeks and underwent months of physical therapy to learn to walk with an artificial limb.
I think one of the major factors that pulled me through this ordeal is my love of life. I've always loved life, and I want to live life to its fullest.
Our family has always been close. I think that this accident has brought us a lot closer because we've had to learn to deal with some letdowns and help our father along the way.
This is something that'll be with me forever. But just thank God Jimmy's here with us. There was a long time there, and I didn't think he was going to pull through. But look at him today, and I It's a miracle, it really is.
The driver of the car that struck Lieutenant Pucci had been trying to get around the line of stopped cars. He was convicted of unsafe lane changing and fined $50.
If anyone gets hero status out of this, it should be Jim Pucci, because here is a man who came back after losing a leg in a terrible accident, never once focusing on any disability that he had, only focusing on his abilities.
1 year after the accident, Jim Pucci returned to work on the police force part-time.
I guess it's natural to say, why me? Why did it happen to me? But I'm so happy to be alive. I look at every day after that fateful night as a gift.
Next.
And just stay right there, Andrew.
I thought, I can handle this. But you don't realize how fast these things go.
Meet Victoria.
In Illinois, as she and her 2 young daughters were getting ready to run some errands.
Thursday morning, we're always in a big rush, and I kind of wanted just to clean up a little bit before I left.
I don't want to argue with you, Janine.
I just was buying what was the second to the last load of clothes.
Let's go. Come on, get out to the car.
When I opened the door and smelled fire, I looked in the garage and there was nothing there. So I thought, oh, this is really weird. And then when I turned around is when I saw the fire.
Oh my God. And just stay right there, Andrew.
I thought, I can handle this. Maybe I would have been able to handle it if I had a fire extinguisher.
Andrew, get outside.
So I ran to get a bucket. I just panicked because you don't realize how fast these things go.
Carol called 911 to report the fire.
I tried to help her and she said, don't, just stay away. It was hopeless.
Okay, be out in front. Please hurry. Andrew, come on, let's go. Come. Stephanie? Stephanie? Stephanie?
When the door slammed, I thought you were in the house. Then I thought, if she is in here, she is in big trouble.
Stephanie, where are you? Stephanie, come here right now.
The garage door closed all by itself. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Members of the Glen Ellen Volunteer Fire Department responded, including Chief Stuart Stowe.
When people dial 911, the tones go off, everybody has a pager, so that everybody knows where it is and what is happening. We're all volunteers, we all live within the community, and during the day, we're out at a station in approximately a minute.
Glen Ellen police officer Joe Blackley happened to be on patrol in the area.
I was only about 3 blocks away, so I responded to the scene to block traffic, which is what we do at fire scenes. She didn't know whether or not her daughter was in the garage or in the house itself.
I don't know.
I remember thinking that this little girl might die.
He ran in the house several times, and he couldn't breathe, and he said it was tremendous heat. In the meantime, I'm outside, hysterical.
Expedite, right away.
Neighbor Cliff Halpin saw the smoke as he was driving by.
The first thing that hit me was to get some cloth and dip it in the snow so that I could breathe through it when it was wet. I gagged and I started coughing, and I had to turn back because I got such a deep breath full of the smoke.
When I finally knew she was in there, she called me that little, hardly a voice, you know. I couldn't go and get her. I feel like I should have been able to do that.
As Joe went into the garage, and I knew that I might have to go in after him. That was real scary for me.
Where's the door opener? Go! Go!
The wires must be burned because it's not working. And it was a matter of timing. Either he was going to come out in 15 or 20 seconds, or I was going to have to go in.
Call your daughter.
Stephanie! Answer me! Stephanie! Stephanie, answer me!
I thought the very worst thing had happened, and I just lost it. I mean, I just felt like someone was sucking the life out of me. It was just like a big, empty, black feeling.
She's in the garage. She's underneath. Stephanie? Jay! Got her, Joe. Go. I got her.
All I remember is they moved her to the front of the house on a flat surface. And then I remember Cliff telling me she's breathing, she's alive.
Her eyes were closed. She was completely limp. And I had never seen anybody like that before that had all this spittle around their mouth. And I knew it had come from her lungs. So she was very, very gone.
Paramedic Mary Alice Van Hefty and her partner also responded to the fire.
She was lethargic when we first saw her. She wasn't a typical little kid. She wasn't even crying. She just looked at you because she was so frightened. And then she started to cry a little, and then she was wiggling all about like a little person is supposed to.
Officer Baki was also treated at the scene.
This sounds really corny, but I think God sent him to me. He just jumped right in there and he didn't think twice.
It never crossed my mind that I was really in danger. My concern was for that little girl.
We were just so lucky that he showed up, because if he didn't show up, I know that she would have died. I know she would have died.
4-year-old Stephanie Gao was taken to the hospital. After 5 days, she was released with no permanent damage.
She's a great kid. She's very happy, happy-go-lucky. My life would just not be the same without her.
In Illinois, as she and her 2 young daughters were getting ready to run some errands.
He's just extra special. I mean, he took it personally. I mean, it was like he was not going to let her die in there.
I was just lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time to help her out. I just did what needed to be done.
Today on Rescue 911, terror on the mountain, an icy slope and a terrible accident. Leaves a life hanging in the balance.
This lady was in trouble.
Rescuers fight the cold to save a life from a snowy grave. Then, a father comes home and goes into diabetic shock. Daddy! His little girl may be his only chance for survival. On Rescue 911.
When a life is on the line, every heartbeat and each passing second is precious. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of courageous battles to survive and the heroes who try to make a difference on Rescue 911. We begin early on the morning of March 4th, 1989, in the snow-covered mountains above Great Barrington, Massachusetts, as ski instructors Louis Alessio and his 52-year-old wife Marty set out to enjoy their first run of the day.
Marty and I have started skiing 20 years ago, and we've been doing it ever since.
Where do you want to go this time?
Oh, we'll go down that hatch.
Okay.
It's just an enjoyable thing for the two of us to do. But that's an important part of our life because Marty and I do things together, and we have always. Nuthatch is our favorite trail. We like to ski the edges, Marty on the right, I on the left. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw her start to fall, and you fall a lot when you're skiing, you slide along and eventually come to a stop. But she kept sliding. I was worried that she had broken her back. I was worried she had broken her neck and she wouldn't walk anymore. I looked at her, her eyes were open, her mouth was open. In that little time, I just couldn't believe how cold she was. Help! Help! I just couldn't believe that this had happened. I kept telling myself, don't lose your cool. She needs you now more than anything. Help! Help! The only thing I said to her was, Marty, please don't leave me now. Help! 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 When we continued, things in my head were going, what am I going to do? Because we've been married for 32 years and 14. I don't want to lose my partner.
Start attending your religious services again. Call Inogen now for a free information kit and a free no-obligation consultation on our complete line of affordable portable oxygen products. And anyone on Medicare or with eligible insurance plans may qualify to get an Inogen One at little or no cost. Call 800-451-4319. That's 800-451-4319.
Joe Mosa, head of the Butternut Basin Ski Patrol, immediately rushed to the scene.
When I heard a ski instructor had hit a tree, I expected to see a gory mess when I got there.
Jeff, go by traffic.
I didn't find what I expected. Marty was not bleeding at the time. There was no blood.
Okay, Marty, it's Joe. Marty, I'm going to feel your neck. Can you feel that at all, Marty?
At that time, I started my initial survey.
On your arm, can you feel it? Does it hurt at all, Marty?
When I felt the stomach area was very, very hard and pulsating, which meant we had some internal bleeding. At that time, I became very, very worried that if we didn't get her off the hill in a hurry, that we may lose her.
Cool. Get down to the ski patrol. Get ready to go to hospital.
At that time, I felt that it would be better to have Lou off the hill. So I told him to get down to the ski patrol room and get ready to assist down there when Marty came off the hill.
It was hard for me to leave her, but I felt that she was in good hands with the ski patrolman. As I started down the mountain, I had a very difficult time trying to ski. My legs were just like rubber. Things in my head were going, you know, what am I going to do? Because we've been married for 32 years and, you know, we're a team. And I don't want to lose my partner.
Okay, move it out. Go, go.
It took us less than 8 minutes to make our exam backward Marty, get around the toboggan and take her down with a waiting ambulance.
At the base of the mountain, they were met by EMT Mary Berryhill.
Are you awake? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, let's get her in the ambulance.
Okay,
It's going to be very cold.
1, 2, 3.
Her breathing, her facial expression, she looked frightened, and her inability to breathe enough so that she could speak words told me that this lady was in trouble.
Marty was rushed to Fairview Hospital, a small facility close to the slopes, for treatment. En route, her condition continued to deteriorate.
Get right. 1, 2, 3.
She had all the signs pointing to a very, very serious injury.
What's going on, guys?
Surgeon George Vinaglu was called in to examine her.
She had no breath sounds on the left side of her chest, which indicated that she probably had a collapsed lung from the trauma.
Let's see what we got. Okay. She's got a whole bunch of broken ribs here.
I was very suspicious at that point that she had a fractured spleen simply because she had a lot of broken ribs on the left side.
We'll go into the OR.
Just before Marty was taken to surgery, her son Chuck was allowed to see her.
Hi, Mom.
I told her that I loved her, and I asked her to squeeze my hand just to let me know that she was listening to me and to let her know that I was there. And she responded by squeezing my hand, which was a very, very comforting for me because my mom was still there. She wasn't just a body laying on the table. She was fighting.
I realized that we were going to do a major procedure and I needed a helping hand. My associate was away that weekend, so the only doctor that was available to help me was Dr. Nino, the gynecologist.
Knife, please. We're starting. Okay. Let's get going now.
Her spleen was normal. However, the diaphragm was bulging into the abdomen, and it became very obvious to me that she had a lot of blood on the right side of her chest.
Okay? Just gonna explore here.
Where did it happen?
Friends and family waited for word of Marty's condition.
I'm thinking, this can't be happening. I'm thinking this is a dream. Why would this happen to my mother? And she's the nicest person in the world. She's a good skier. There's no reason for it to be happening to someone like this.
A lot of things were going through my mind. What if she had a real major chest injury? We don't do this type of surgery at Fairview Hospital. So in the back of my mind, I thought, well, maybe I should send the patient to another bigger institution where they do heart cases every day and it's a daily routine for them. But then I thought it over again. I said, well, if I send her anywhere else, she'll be dead.
Okay, there's a lot of blood in the right chest.
We saw a pulmonary artery laceration. We put a clamp right into that, and we got the bleeding controlled. Then I opened the sac around her heart because there was blood around her heart. And once we opened the sac, it became very obvious that a piece of the rib that was broken poked a hole in her heart.
I think that's what caused the hole in her heart.
And at that point, I thought, okay, we can fix this. She's going to make it. It's going to be okay. But as we were doing that, she had a cardiac arrest.
She's fibrillating, and let's have the paddles.
I requested to get the internal paddles. They said, what internal paddles? We didn't do any open heart surgery at Fairview.
Everybody clear.
It was a situation like MASH, a situation where we needed a lot of resources and some things that were not available, and we had to do what we had to do with what we got.
Dr. and Marty's husband.
Dr. Beetlebrue came in and he looked at me and he said, I don't think she's going to make it. She's got a hole in her heart this big.
We sewed it up, but she arrested several times, and I'm not sure exactly what's going to
Dr.
happen.
Beetlebrue, I'm from the OR staff.
When Dr. Vinaglue left the room, I says, that's it. She must have died, and I've lost her. A nurse came in and told us that they'd like to have us go to the meditation room.
There, so if you just gather up your things and follow me.
That's the point that I thought, well, this is where they're going to tell us the news, you know, that I've lost my wife. A nurse came in and said, we thought you'd be more comfortable here because you're going to be right by Marty. She's right down the hall in the intensive care. And with that, I had a big sigh of relief.
Over the next 2.5 weeks, Marty slowly recovered, but she cannot forget how close she came to dying.
I remember I saw an operating table from a distance, and I couldn't see anyone's faces, but I knew that it was me on that table somehow, and I knew I had just died. And I just sort of felt, no, I'm not gonna die. And then it was gone. The scene was gone just as quickly as it appeared. Then the next thing that I remember is waking up.
It was very hard thinking about losing Marty. What goes through my mind now is, especially when they run up to Grandma and give her a big hug and a kiss, you know, that makes me probably most appreciative that she's still around to enjoy all that. Because I wouldn't want it the other way.
There's a baby in there somewhere. Yeah,
Miracles are made. Miracles don't happen. And Dr. Vinaglue and his staff made this miracle. He's probably the best man I've ever met in my whole life. I owe him the biggest debt of gratitude. He could ask me any favor in the world and I'd do it for him. I'd probably do it 10 times over. Doesn't matter what it is.
For me to stop skiing would be like not breathing. So it was natural for me to go back to skiing.
We feel that skiing is a very safe sport. And this was just a freak accident.
Hey, how you feeling?
Good. I feel great.
Cold?
So good to be back on here. I could sit in a rocker for the rest of my life, and I would probably be safe, but that's not living. Going out and skiing is living. That's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. I want a hot chocolate. You owe me.
Okay, I owe you a hot chocolate.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
Okay.
Next.
Insulin shock can rapidly progress to a complete coma, and if there's not sugar administered, the patient will die.
And on the 7th day, you were given...
I had to get out and pull him out. You alright?
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happened to...
On Amazon. Call now.
Call 1-800-791-6893. That's 1-800-791-6893. Or visit flipwitch.com. So call 1-800-791-6893 or visit flipwitch.com. Order now.
On June 10th, 1992, in Federal Way, Washington, 6-year-old Samantha Barth had been looking forward all day to spending the afternoon with her father. But on that day, the time she thought that they'd spend together did not turn out as she had hoped.
My daddy picked me up from the daycare, and he was driving fast, and he was going on lanes that he wasn't supposed to be on. When we got home, he was just sitting in the car. Dad, come on. I had to get out and pull him out. I didn't know what was happening to Daddy, and he was acting real weird. Dad, I think it's time for something to eat. Sometimes my daddy has problems with his blood sugar. He's diabetic, so I thought I should get him something to eat. I climbed up on the chair to get the oranges and the chips. I thought about honey, but I said no, it's too much of a mess. I tried giving him one.
Oh, honey, I don't like them.
But he wouldn't eat it. He said he didn't like them, but he really does. Dad, you're sweaty. My mommy told me that he always got to check his wrist to see if he's sweaty or not. If he's sweaty, he's either low or high. And so I just had to save his life.
Fire Department Medic 1, address for the problem. Fire Department Medic 1, what is the address?
Hi, my address is okay,
hon, is it from where you're calling?
I know my house.
Okay, and that's where the problem is?
Yeah.
What's the matter?
I think my daddy's low. He's a diabetic.
You think he's low?
Federal Way Fire Dispatcher Pat Everett took the call.
When she told me that she thought her daddy was low, that he's a diabetic, the first thing I was thinking was, I hope he's not truly unconscious and that this man needs CPR.
Is he awake?
No.
He's not awake?
No.
How old are you?
I'm 6 and a half.
You're 6 and a half. Are you there by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, can you go over there and shake your daddy and see if he'll wake up? Okay, you go shake him. I have help on the way, but don't hang up.
Rescue units were immediately dispatched, including King County paramedic Chris Merritt.
Insulin shock can rapidly progress to a complete coma, and if there's not sugar administered orally or intravenously, the patient will die.
Shake him hard. Okay, you go do that and come back to the phone.
It's scary being all alone with your daddy and nobody with you when he's low on sugar.
Pat relayed information to the medic units en route as another dispatcher took over the call.
Okay, Samantha, listen carefully now. The 8 car is on the way over there already. They'll be right there to see you, okay? You did a good job, honey. Yes. Okay. Bye-bye.
Within 3 minutes of the call, the first rescue units arrived on scene.
When the medics came, I was hoping they would make him feel better.
Lieutenant Robert Stinnett, an EMT, took charge.
When we arrived at the scene, he was just at the point where he was going to start to be more critical.
We're going to give him some glucose right now. Thanks. Okay, Nels, we're going to put some glucose in your mouth. Can you hear me all right? Okay, open your mouth, all right?
He was able to take a little bit of that, but obviously he was still too far out that he needed more medical attention than that.
Moments later, the advanced life support unit arrived.
Hi, this is Nels.
We knew what the problem was, but we needed to confirm it.
This is down pretty low.
We found his blood sugar to be at 20, which is extremely low, dangerously low in fact. A normal blood sugar is about 120.
Nels, we're going to give you some medicine through your vein here.
So we administered 2 doses of D50W, which is a highly concentrated sugar solution.
Waking up at all there, buddy? Nels, waking up? How you doing, buddy?
And within just minutes, he was alert and oriented and thanking us for waking him up.
We gotta get you some food, so get your sugar up.
Yeah. The problem I had that day definitely threw me for a loop. I knew there was something wrong, but I had mistaken having low blood sugar for just being fatigued and tired.
Samantha was just fabulous. She saw that Daddy was in an obvious diabetic state. He was having a crisis. She assessed the situation and took immediate action.
On Amazon. Call now. Call 1-800-791-6893.
That's 1-800-791-6893. Or visit flipwish.com.
Accepted than we think they are, and we don't give them enough credit.
I'm happier than anything in the whole entire world because I saved my daddy's life, and I love him infinity.
Today on Rescue 911. Hazardous fun. Child's play leaves a little boy severely wounded.
I knew that if we did not stop the bleeding, that this boy was going to die on me.
Paramedics hold his life in their hands. Then, she is an extraordinary police officer.
My favorite thing is getting a gun.
On some of the meanest streets in the country.
We got a problem up there, you understand?
On Rescue 911.
On the afternoon of March 13th, 1992, at their home in Grants Pass, Oregon, Joetta Sherrard was tragically reminded that despite our best intentions, when children are involved, it only takes a moment for the unthinkable to happen.
Hey, you guys, I want you to sit down and watch a cartoon. I'm going to leave for a few minutes.
I normally don't leave my kids alone at home, but I had to run an errand. The kids didn't want to go with me, so I thought, well, they'll be okay here. Nothing can happen while I'm gone. I'm only going to be gone just a few minutes.
I don't want any rough stuff while I'm gone. You guys understand?
The younger children were left in the care of Michael, who was almost 12.
Let's go do something. What? I told my friend Evan that this cartoons were getting boring, so we went outside because we decided we wanted to play tag.
Get up here! Come here! Here, quick! Come on! Hey, you can't get the phone. Come on!
Sure hope this succeeds in fixing this old pretty bad.
John Miller and his father were working in the yard next door.
My dad asked me to help him do some odd jobs over there in one of his rental houses. I had noticed a lot of horseplay, you know, which typical boys.
Yeah, you're right there.
It was not anything that alarmed me. I'm used to boys getting up and having fun, making noise.
I was it, and I went after Ben, and it just happened real quick. All I saw was just blood everywhere, and I started screaming. I just said, oh my God, oh my God.
When we continue.
The first thing I heard when the call came in was a child screaming, oh my God. That sets our blood going.
Grants Pass.
Where cable internet doesn't go, Viasat goes all in. Call 888-404-6303 and save up to $150. Call 888-404-6303 or go to getviasat.com today.
Join the bunkers for some family time. All in the Family, weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, we're gonna send an ambulance. He's hurting bad. Okay.
Grants Pass Josephine County dispatcher Sue Williams, a 10-year veteran, took over the call from a trainee.
The first thing I heard when the call came in was a child screaming, "Oh my God." That sets our blood going. You want to reach out and grab this child and say, "It's going to be okay. I'm going to help you through this."
I rushed to him and I'd never seen such an ugly cut in my life. I had a lot of training in the Navy in first aid, and so we elevated his arms, applied the pressure. I knew that if we did not stop the bleeding, that this boy was going to die on me. And I was not going to let that happen.
Okay, this is what I want you to do, okay? Listen to me. Is the glass still in his arm?
I don't know.
Okay, what did he cut it on?
A glass through a window. Eric, get over here. Get out the glass.
Listen to me. How many are there of you over there?
There's two guys come over. My friend and my brother.
How old is your brother?
Benjamin. He's 7.
This is what I want you to do, okay? I want you to wrap it. Get a clean towel or something, okay? And put it around the blood. Just put direct pressure. Do you know what direct pressure means?
No.
Okay, direct pressure means to cover it with something clean and just hold it there. Don't squeeze real hard. Yes, there's an adult in
Give me a towel, a clean towel.
What's your name?
I'll put down Michael Shores.
Okay, Michael.
I'll put down the phone real quick so I can get it.
You can put down the phone real quick. Don't hang up, though.
Let's lay this down. Right down there.
In the back of my mind, I was afraid this lad was not going to live. In a way, I was angry about that thought. I've always felt it unfair by fate that a child has to die.
Everything's going to be okay.
I was going to do my part. Fate, we can have a fight.
Michael, your brother's not going to die, okay? He's not going to die. He just cut his arm, okay? We got an ambulance? Well, yeah, you know, blood is a very scary thing. Okay, if you get upset, he's going to get upset. Michael, you're doing good. What's your brother's name?
Benjamin Shores.
Okay, you tell Benjamin, say we're going to fix you up.
What?
Who's that?
Benjamin's outside. He cut his arm.
Who are you talking to now?
My mom, she's got back.
Okay.
So you want to talk to her?
Yeah, let me talk to your mom.
Actually, what the hell happened? Yes, oh my God.
Let me talk to your mom. Get your mom on the phone now. Get her on the phone now. Get her on the phone now. Get her on the phone.
It's 911 here.
There were 2 men standing out there and they wouldn't let me see him. And that was real hard for me. I just wanted to hold him and they wouldn't let me see him.
Hi. You're okay, all right? Let's not get all excited here. We're going to scare Benjamin, okay? Okay, you're doing... Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Okay, you're doing just fine. Michael, call 911. We've got an ambulance that should be there any second.
I can't breathe. But I don't think they can find my house.
Okay, you need to calm down, okay? Because it's not going to help anyone. The ambulance is on Florence Lane, okay? He's there now.
Let me go with you.
Sure they will. Okay, they're on scene now. I'm going to keep you on the line until I know that you're calmed down a little, okay? It's not going to help the paramedics if you guys are all upset there. Okay, Benjamin's going to be all right?
I was really scared. I was just in so much shock. I couldn't believe that. I just didn't want him to die.
What's your name?
Joanna.
Okay, Joanna, you need to calm down for everybody, okay? How's Benjamin doing?
He's calm. He looks really pale, though.
Okay, all right.
So much blood on his clothes.
Okay, a little blood goes a long way. We've got the ambulance there. They're going to check on it. Okay. Now, do you think you can sort of maintain? You're going to be okay. I don't want you to get upset because then that'll upset Benjamin, and then everybody will get upset again. And you being mom needs to be strong right now.
I'm a wimp, so I can't.
You're not a wimp. Hey, you're not a wimp.
Okay.
Will you be strong for me, Joanna? All right. You take care of yourself.
Okay, my neighbor's here with me.
I want you to be... Hey, you're not a wimp. You be strong, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Go for it. Bye-bye.
When we hang up after a high emotional call such as that one, the frustration is so high that you want to just unplug and go over there and make sure everything's okay. We just have to hang up the phone and wonder.
Marvin?
Care Ambulance paramedic Marvin Aaron and his partner assessed Benjamin's injuries.
Okay, I am.
The wound on his left forearm was particularly bad, and Benjamin was unable to move some of his fingers and had no sensation in his fingers.
You feel me touching you down here? No. You can't feel that? Can you wiggle your fingers for me?
Usually children don't handle injuries of this nature well, and because he kept a cool head, and because he was such a nice boy, my heart just went out to him.
He didn't have any color to his face at all, and his lips were white. And he kept saying to me, "Mom, I can't feel my arms, I can't feel my arms." And when he was telling me that, I thought, God, he's not going to ever be able to use them again.
Benjamin was admitted to Rogue Valley Medical Center, where he was examined by plastic surgeon Ronald Warland.
Dr. Warland here.
When Ben came in, the hand was alive, so I knew that one of the arteries, at least, was functional. Well, it looks like we've got all of the tendons cut. The surgery required repairing 9 tendons to the hand, both of the major nerves, and of course the skin defect which had occurred when he fell through the window. It's going to be fine.
No, but you should have seen. We didn't think he'd ever be able to use his arm. Do normal things again. Be a little boy. He loves to play, jump and run and swing on monkey bars, and I never realized until that point how you take for granted being able to do things like that. An arm is a precious thing.
The nerves are repaired with a very fine material under the microscope. Because the stitches are so small, one never knows whether or not the nerve will work or the tendons will work. We had a probably 70% chance of the nerves functioning.
After months of grueling physical therapy, Benjamin has completely regained the use of his arms. No one is more thankful than his father, Charles.
He could have died. He could have bled to death. If it wasn't for the fact of Michael and the Millers and 911 and the paramedics and all the doctors, and I just thank them very much because they helped save Benjamin's life. He's a walking miracle.
It was really scary. I didn't think I would be able to use my arms again. But I feel fine. I can use my hand. I can swing on the monkey bars.
The first time that he ran and grabbed a monkey bar and jumped on it, all of us cried. It was a real magic moment. When I see him out playing, my heart just leaps. And the term "hold me, Mom" takes on a whole new meaning. Just give me a hug with both arms. It takes on a whole new meaning.
When he got home every night, I slept by him on the floor because I wanted to be with him the whole time. I love my brother a lot. I'm just glad he's alive. If he was dead, I don't know what I would do. I don't even know if I could live if he would die. I look forward to that nothing else bad will happen and everything will go good in our life.
By choosing to get involved.
Recently, the city of Grants Pass officially recognized all the people who helped save Benjamin's life that day.
Benjamin Sherrard.
I'm happy to see being happy. We bonded. Truthfully, the best gift I've ever had is seeing a kid have fun. I will remember him. I think I always will.
Michael Sherrard. Sue Illian, the dispatcher at the control center.
I don't even get near glass now. I just want to thank everybody that saved my life.
Next, most boring police officer.
Catch Amen on Funny Side Up every weekday at 6 a.m. Eastern.
Many of the best cops around the country have a style all their own. What follows is not a recreation. It's the story of one unique New Orleans police officer.
Some police officers are trained and some are born. Mo was born a police officer.
This Nellie. Oh, Nellie Bell, she's secret. She mostly stay hidden. And old Sally is she where you can see her. She's still on my side most of the time. I always had one of the gun. I ain't no fool. Somebody got 16 shots and I only got 6. I mean, 2 for 1. Might blow my brains out.
Every night, Officer Lamelda Sill bids her 12 and 13-year-old sons good night and heads to work.
The 6th district is a fast-moving district. It also has the most killings. We might have 3 or 4 shootings in one night. Big guns. Don't put my dope in my mouth.
With its 5 housing projects, Mo's beat is one of the toughest in the country, but she often patrols it alone.
I grew up in the Lafitte Project, and that's where I learned to do a lot of things. I learned how the drug deal go down. I learned how to defend myself, how people carry guns. Made me very streetwise. Got them rocks.
I thought you were going for a gun.
Got you, brother. Oh! You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, maybe use against you in the court of law. You have a right to an attorney. You cannot afford one. The court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights? Okay, you're under arrest for possession of rock cocaine.
Oh, where is it?
Where the gun?
Throw the gun.
You gotta be in these bushes. You gotta be in the bushes. My favorite thing is getting a gun. Guns kill people in the wrong hands, little children. A drug dealer might throw a gun down, and a 5-year-old might pick it up and point at another one and say bang, bang, but the gun go off bang, bang, and it be dead. I've been shot a lot.
She's got a nose for guns. She can sniff out a gun like a dog sniffs out perpetrators. She has an enormous amount of informants that nobody else can seem to get.
A tip comes in. A crack house may be operating out of an apartment in one of the projects in Mo's district.
I'm not gonna lie. Well, that's why y'all ain't gonna have this apartment long. I don't see for that. I want tall houses so it ain't gonna be food in there. It's already been done. You water bag, what?
No one is home but a teenage girl, 9 months pregnant, and her 4-year-old son.
They cooking. They're so busy cooking they crack. Look, see all that paraphernalia, all that. See any groceries up here? See groceries? You got people on welfare, sell their food stamps, and the children have no food. I see a lot of 5-year-olds who come home every day, and the only time they eat is at school. Why they ain't got no light? Why no refrigerator in the bedroom? Why no refrigerator in the bedroom? Somebody don't do crack in here. If you had to be in the cold, in the rain, when you come home, nobody ain't there to tell you, brush your hair, brush your teeth. You don't have no food in there, nothing to eat, not even a piece of bread. When he's 16 years old, remember, you made a cold-blooded killer. He said, I'm cold-blooded because nobody never felt sorry for me. I ain't felt sorry for me. And I used to come home for nothing. And that's how you get a cold-blooded killer. I lived there for many years.
Mo returns to the projects where she grew up.
Good. All them years. Come down, I'm going to go to church. And you going to church? Years ago, we could sleep with the door, but everybody knew everybody was. It's not hot. They can't sleep with their door open like that. They can't. Now you gotta keep everything locked. The screen door, everything. Feel that you might hit the floor. They start to shoot. Boom, 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 boom. It's ridiculous. And see, I love my man. It's over 20 years old. And I love my grandma till dead till now. And she dead in the grave, but she taught me a lot of values that I never will forget. That you don't have to steal, you don't have to do none of that to make it in life. You can have everything. Somebody might take you a little while longer to get it, but you can still get it. She taught me those values. Okay. You don't know how to drive that car. You must not want it. Taking it out like that.
She apparently feels like it's her responsibility not only to raise her family, but everyone else's. And the minute that they get out of line, she treats them as if you've done something horribly wrong.
What you do? What you need? What you need? Yeah, right there.
What you got on this seat?
In the St. Thomas Project, Mo stops 3 teenagers out cruising in their mother's van. Hidden under the seat, an imitation shotgun is found.
Take it down on the corner. What that tell you? You got a bad freaking light for running into the police. Huh? And you need to step from where I'm at. I know you back here doing evil like get around. No. It's 2:20 in the morning. You're 16 years old. I'm gonna fix you. Let me tell you. I'll let you freeze. I'm gonna fix you better than your mama can fix you. See, I'm gonna make you walk home in the freezing cold and then tell your mama come get her car.
319. Catch Amen.
He got a problem up there, you understand? He needs his ass kicked.
She has a rapport, not with just some people, but with all on the streets. That they know that they are a person, and she respects them for that. But if they mess up, then they have to deal with Mo, and that's not always good. That's not always good.
Today on Rescue 911, accidental terror. A peaceful camping trip takes a deadly turn.
It was like the worst possible nightmare.
Rescuers take to the air.
There's no way he can live.
To locate a wounded hiker. Then, a driver's car won't start. And when he looks under the hood, he gets the shock of his life.
Holy cow, get away from the car. That's an alligator or a crocodile. I think we have a little problem.
On Rescue 911.
For years, Robert Kelly and his younger brother Brendan had gotten together with a few close friends for an annual backpacking trip. But on April 18th of 1992, while camping in the mountains north of Yosemite, they found themselves in a deadly situation none of them had planned for.
Remote locations that we go, there is nothing. You're in God's country. And there are no telephones, no cars, no roads. Everything is Mother Nature. Eric and Joe said they were going to see if they could go scout out a nice place to fish. We decided we were going to do some firing. It's a great bunch of guys. I can trust each and every one of them with my life.
I'll catch up with you guys later.
Nick Mosley and the others soon joined 19-year-old Brendan, who was shooting target practice.
Rob shot a few rounds. I walked up and he stepped back and saw his log sitting in the water, sighted in on it. It was really loud. After I pulled back the hammer, I can't tell. He goes, "You want some earplugs?" And I thought about it for a second. I said, "No, like that." And I go, "Yeah, good idea." And I dropped the gun straight down, straight pointed to the ground. Took a couple steps, turned, reached like this. I saw the earplugs right in my hand. I looked down, I saw the hammer was back, and it slipped out to my thumb.
I couldn't believe it. You know, Nick's gun still smoking. I looked at my brother, and a 2-foot-long gusher of flesh and blood just started spreading on my brother's body.
When we continue.
It was registering in my head. This was a .357 Magnum hollow point that he had been hit with. He's dead. There's no way he could live.
Keep you on track with fun challenges and even prizes. Bonus number 3, wellness coaches. Available 7 days a week without an appointment. There for you. Bonus number 4, probiotic belly busting shakes. Free.
Don't wait. Be one of the first 300 callers to order or go immediately to the URL on your screen to grab your bonus offers.
Hold everything.
We're having a BOGO sale.
For limited time, buy 1 month, get 1 free. That's 2 months of weight loss for the price of 1. All these bonus offers have a combined value of over $300, but are yours when you act now. Don't wait. The phone lines are open and the reps are standing by. Call right now.
What are you waiting for? You could have a whole new life ahead of you. Just call now or order online. Either way, don't wait. I know you can do this. Try the new personal plans from Nutrisystem. Change your life today.
Go to Nutrisystem.com/Marie or call 877-971-FIT8 right now to buy 1 month, get 1 free. Plus get 4 bonus offers.
I had taken my right hand, put it over the bullet wound to stop the bleeding. He was losing a lot of blood, and it was registering in my head. This was a .357 Magnum hollow point with hot loads that he had been hit with. He's dead. There's no way he could live. There was so much blood coming out, but my hand slipped off the wound momentarily, and I could hear the air escaping out because the lungs been punctured. At that point, I looked up at Todd and said, "Keep my brother alive. I've got to go for a medevac. I'm going for help. Keep my brother alive."
It was like the worst possible nightmare. I couldn't deal with stress being there at the site. I just couldn't handle it.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
2 of the young men rushed over with a first aid kit from their camp.
We had to get this pressure dressing on him. I just couldn't release my hand, blood's going to go everywhere. So Eric slid it under my hand and while I was holding it. He tied it off, and then he added a second one. I was putting a lot of pressure on him, and I was hurting him, but we had to stop that blood.
I knew there was a payphone about 3.5 miles away, and that was my goal. I'm not running fast enough. Run faster, faster, faster. And I was pushing myself, and I was alternating the Our Fathers and Hail Marys very fast, hoping that maybe the praying would help my brother keep him alive long enough for me to reach that phone.
911 emergency. Hi. I'm calling from Black Creek, California. My brother's been shot in the back.
What is your address?
We're by the Pinecrest Lake up the Valley Gorge at Lower Cleos. I need a medevac cop, ma'am.
All right. What type of gun was he shot with?
He was shot with a .357 Magnum, point blank.
Members of the Pinecrest Volunteer Fire Department were sent to the scene. A Mediflight helicopter was also dispatched from more than 50 miles away, along with a search and rescue helicopter.
We waited and we waited. We assured Ben, Ben, you're going to be okay. That's the only thing we could do.
By the time the first rescuers arrived, including EMT Marty Rosenbaum, more than an hour had passed.
When we reached the victim, I saw that he had held on with his friends helping him. I felt right at the middle of his belly, the whole outline of the bullet. That meant his chest had been violated and also his belly, meaning that he would be having increasing difficulty breathing, and we were looking at very heavy internal bleeding.
The 19-year-old victim had to be carried a mile through rough terrain to the nearest place where the search and rescue helicopter could land safely. There, his condition was assessed by Dr. Don Dudley.
We needed to transport him as quickly as possible. He was in a lot of pain. He had no breath sounds on the right side. He appeared to be in early shock. We know he's bleeding severely in his chest. I know he's bleeding in his belly. Somebody like that can bleed out and die very quickly.
While rescuers prepared to take Brendan to the air ambulance waiting a few miles away, his brother Robert returned to the scene.
They wouldn't let me up towards the helicopter because they were getting ready to take off. They didn't want me in the way. But a feeling of hopelessness, helplessness. You know, when you're sitting there and you know that's your brother, your blood, that's sitting up there dying. That could have been the last moments that I'd ever seen my brother.
Brendan was flown to Modesto Memorial Hospital. While the trauma team worked to stabilize Brendan, his parents, John and Elizabeth Kelly, rushed to be by his side.
I was in denial all the way up to the hospital. This can't happen. He can't die. He won't die.
I was extremely concerned as to the amount of damage. Those hollow point bullets, they just go in and they spread and they just bounce everywhere.
Surgeon Tony Tem examined Brendan's x-rays to determine the extent of his injuries.
After traveling through the chest and through the diaphragm, the bullet had destroyed the top hole of the spleen, following which it went through the stomach twice. So there were 2 holes inside the stomach. Then it went through the left lobe of the liver and took a chunk of the liver and then rested inside the abdominal wall. Here's a bullet and here's a fragment.
And I took Nick into Brendan's bedside, and Brendan just put his hand up and grabbed Nick's hand and said, "I love you, man." And it was real hard for Nick to speak. He was wearing Brendan's hat. He took the hat off his head and put it on Brendan's head, and he said, "Here's your lucky hat."
When I went in to go see him, I grabbed his hand, and he looked straight at me, and he told me, you know, "You're my favorite big brother. He saved my ass."
Amazingly, Brendan Kelly has almost completely recovered from his injuries. He now spends time speaking to young people about gun safety.
People don't understand how powerful guns are, how much damage it can do. That one bullet couldn't cost more than 50 cents, but, you know, hospital bills are well over $60,000 already. Even past that, you know, it could have cost me my life.
I've shot many different weapons. Doesn't matter how many times you shot a gun. Doesn't matter how experienced you are. Doesn't mean nothing. You can flush all that stuff down the toilet. It takes a moment of breaking concentration, and boom.
Once that gun kicks and that bullet's down barrel and going towards whatever it's going to hit, you can't take it back. I mean, if I could take back time, I'd take back, you know, the bullet that went into my brother, but we can't do that. And all we can do is just thank the Lord above that my brother's alive, and that this story has a happy ending.
Next.
They said somebody's playing a practical joke on you. Maybe it's an inflatable alligator. Why don't you try poking it? Maybe it'll pop.
He's fleet of foot.
A tail.
In desperation, Chris called his best friend Tim Lanham, a 911 supervisor.
A tail. And I thought, oh my God, I got a snake in my car.
Way to a friend's birthday party that afternoon.
The steering column is jammed.
What do you mean it's jammed?
It won't let me turn. I could not move it. And also my alternate light came on. So because we were in a bit of a hurry and it was already getting a little bit late, we had to park the car back in the driveway and take the other car.
About 7 o'clock that evening, we got back home. My husband popped open the hood and he started to poke around to see what was wrong with the car.
I noticed on the right side of the engine what appeared to be a tail. And I thought, oh my God, I got a snake in my car.
Where?
Right there. Right
Oh
there.
my God.
Let me see this alive.
Be careful. What do we do? I wasn't as mobile as I usually am, and I didn't know if the fear of this thing would make me go into premature labor.
What do you see?
There's a big tail down here, Marty. I can't make anything else out. Holy cow, get away from the car. There's a claw there. This is an alligator or a crocodile.
I'm now, right now.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report an emergency, sort of.
We call Metro Day non-emergency number. They said somebody's playing a practical joke on you. Maybe it's an inflatable alligator. Why don't you try poking it? Maybe it'll pop.
Okay, give me the number.
Who are you gonna call?
She gave me a couple of phone numbers to some wildlife game rescue, etc.
But it was Sunday, and no one answered. In desperation, Chris called his best friend, Tim Lanham, a 911 supervisor.
Hey, thanks for coming out, man. Look at that, you see it?
Knowing Chris, I'm thinking, like, I wonder what it is, really.
I think we have a little problem here, guys.
As soon as he realized the scale of the problem, Tim called the Florida Game and Freshwater Fish Commission. Officer John Esslinger was sent to the scene.
John Esslinger, Florida Game and Fish Commission. Thanks for coming out. Check it out.
It looks like a gator or something, doesn't it?
It's no gator.
You sure?
I'm sure. What do you think it is?
I believe it's a big lizard. Is it alive?
Yeah.
Just by the size of the animal, I could tell that it probably had potential to be dangerous.
You're gonna take it with you, right?
So, once I figured out where the head was, I just stayed away from the head.
Holy mackerel, he's a big boy. He's about 4 or 6 feet long.
You think so?
Well, he's frisky, all right. He's moving around up there. Chris, how do you feel about taking apart your car?
There was a fear that he wasn't trapped, that he was there by his own will.
Oh, yeah. Strong. Yeah. It's been eating his Wheaties.
I didn't know if it was angry or what.
He's holding on tight.
Yeah, he's grabbing on again.
Oh. What's the car, Tim? Okay, he's expanding on us. He doesn't want to come out either way. Looks like he's found himself a new home.
Chris and I said, you're not going anywhere until you find somebody that can get rid of this lizard for us.
Pesky critters.
Todd Hardwick runs a company that specializes in nuisance wildlife control.
In an engine?
We had a feeling that it would be a monitor lizard, which makes me a little uneasy because monitors can be capable of inflicting an extremely nasty bite. How you doing, John?
Appreciate you coming.
Hey. Wow, look at that.
Wow, he's big.
He's something else.
It's an Asian water monitor, every bit of 6 feet. I was thinking that possibly when the engine started, the fan belts, which were now dislodged, had propelled him up into this position. And there was no way in the world that he was going to come out of this compartment alive. Watch that tail when you're down there with your eyes.
Todd's associate, Jill Boyd, was hoping for a better outcome.
All I wanted to do is save this lizard and bring it home with me. That's what I wanted. I wanted the lizard.
I didn't really want to be near it, and yet I didn't want to miss the show either. My neighbors came out and they brought their beach chairs and they said we wanted some beer. They would bring out the cooler with the beers and everything.
Thanks a lot. Okay, here comes the soap, Jill.
Well, at least it's going to be a clean lizard.
Yeah, okay. I've got his 2 back feet now.
Okay.
He's really wound up in
Okay,
there.
I want to see him react, Jill. Give him a little bit of steady pressure.
I am pulling.
Okay, hold up, Jill. This isn't going to work like this.
So basically, after 20 minutes, we had a slimy trap lizard. To them, it was like a challenge. It was like, okay, dishwashing liquid doesn't work. We're going to get this sucker one way or another.
He'll start to react to the cold, and hopefully he'll slide right down in your lap. Be ready.
My father, I told him, well, just kill it. Cut it up, and in 5 minutes, I'll wash it out, and it'll be gone, and I'll have my car back. But I really felt bad for the animal.
I would have stayed there all night long trying to get the lizard out unharmed and alive. If I had to hire a mechanic to come and take the car apart and help me, I would do that.
Around 10:30 p.m., Todd called a veterinarian who recommended a tranquilizer to relax the lizard.
Oh, he doesn't like that. There is considerable risk there. The animal could stop breathing. The heart could stop. And in a situation like he was, we would not be able to do much for him.
He looks pretty tranquilized now. He all of a sudden relaxed, and his arms and claws and legs were not hugging the engine anymore. But he was wedged in there by this bar.
You can just
get that loose, we're gonna have a lizard out of here.
You can have it. I don't want it.
Jill,
Everybody looked around, and everybody wound up looking at me. They're my tools. I guess I'm going to have to go in there and do it.
watch that tail, okay?
Oh, believe me, I am.
Jill, be ready to get under here.
Don't hesitate.
He's right here.
Don't let the engine fall on you now.
Jill, go, get under there.
He rolled out from under that car faster than I've ever seen anybody move, and Jill was moving faster to get under the car.
It's coming out of there, Joe. Be careful.
There you go, lizard sliding down.
Okay, I got the head. I got the
Watch
head.
the mouth.
It's coming. I'm pulling. Lizard's coming out. It's coming out. Oh, I got him. We have a lizard. We got him. I got him.
It looked like her long-lost pet puppy or something.
Look at him.
It was like, at last, I've got my hands on you.
What do you think, Todd?
Oh, man. He looks okay. Is he look
25
hurt?
pounds.
He look hurt?
He looks alright. He's got a little blister on the chest here, but it looks
He's
pretty
still
good.
tranquilized. Look, just like a little
That big
dinosaur.
All I could think was, he's a lucky guy, because I could have driven away further and really hurt him.
We didn't bring a big enough cage to put this lizard in. And I said, well, Todd, since he's tranquilized, let's just take him in the cab with us. He can sit on my lap. And the lizard rode home in my lap, all the way with Todd looking at him. I guess, lizard's not waking up, is he? Lizard's not waking up.
The Asian water monitor, presumed to be an escaped prey to a friend's birthday party that afternoon.
What if I find one of those things?
I think he knows who I am. He tried to steal my car.
That's right. I like Gordon, and I'm glad he's fine. And it was fun and adventuresome at the same time, but I don't ever want it to happen again. Not my car, anyway.
For more full Rescue 911 videos and for more full episodes of Flipper, hit the big red button and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube. Now I'm gonna click on end event. I'm gonna be going to bed soon, 'cause it's real late. Peace out, YouTube.